We begin with breaking news tonight. In just the past 20 minutes, these men walked before our cameras. Police say they are linked to multiple cases where a gun was bought fraudulently.
Now, in this case, officers say that a woman notified police her credit card was used to buy 4 guns. Investigators were then able to work with a gun shop here in San Antonio to learn when the suspects would return to pick up the firearms. And that's when officers arrested the duo. Police say they also used a fake ID to buy the weapons.
Now to our top story. Nearly 2 months since the shooting of a teenager at a McDonald's, charges are stacking up against the fired San Antonio police officer who shot at Eric Cantu.
Today, a grand jury indicted former officer James Brennan on attempted murder. The night team's John Paul Barajas has followed this story all day, and tonight he spoke with a local civil rights group who's continued to push for police accountability.
Both the district attorney's office as well as the police chief really being gung-ho and advocating so fiercely on a case of police brutality. And I'm hoping that this is showing a shift.
A shift in the Eric Cantu case, as Ananda Tom is hopeful when it comes to police accountability.
Frankly, this is the fastest that I've ever seen a case involving an officer-involved shooting move.
The executive director for Act for SA now wants other cases involving the use of force and police to move forward in the same manner.
Get out of the car.
Body camera video shows former officer James Brennan confront Eric Cantu in a McDonald's parking lot before firing several shots. He now faces a new attempted murder charge along with the 2 counts of aggravated assault by a public servant that he's already facing. Bexar County DA Joe Gonzalez says he's seeking justice for the 17-year-old.
Justice means obtaining a conviction. Justice means making sure that man never works as a member of law enforcement, making sure that that man never has a gun and a badge.
The teen spent 7 weeks in the hospital. His recovery ongoing. Cantu's attorney said this is a significant step towards justice, but there is still a long road ahead. The lead prosecutor on the case has a positive outlook for that long road.
Nobody who does this for a living goes about predicting outcomes. But I would say this, that over the time I've been in this office, if we get to this point, we're confident and comfortable with our evidence to date.
Now, when looking at the new charge of attempted murder, it is worth mentioning that it is a felony 2, a lesser charge than the 2 counts of aggravated assault by a public servant that carries a heavier punishment because it's a felony 1. It's worth more because it's caused and involved with a government official. That's the next steps in this case. The DA is still waiting for a court date. At the Paul Elizondo Tower, John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
John Paul, thank you. New details tonight in a fire that claimed the life of someone on their birthday. That is one of 2 separate fire investigations in 2 separate parts of town. Both happened early this morning. Flames destroyed a truck stop and a Denny's on the eastern part of the county. And while an apartment fire on the west side claimed the lives of 2 women. And tonight, we're learning that for one of those women, it was her birthday. The fire that turned deadly was around 3 this morning at an apartment on Eldridge Avenue. The Bexar County medical examiner confirmed that Amber Cortez would have celebrated her 29th birthday today. 71-year-old Gloria Cortez was also found dead in the same apartment. Cortez celebrated her own birthday last month. Both of them died of smoke inhalation. The medical examiner is calling their deaths accidental. While firefighters investigate what caused the fire, firefighters are also reminding people to heat their homes safely and to be careful when they use space heaters. Now, in a separate case on the east side, flames tore through that Denny's and the truck stop attached to it near I-10 and Foster Road around 5 o'clock this morning. Miraculously, unbelievably, nobody was hurt in that fire. The owners of the Flying J truck stop say that they're making arrangements to help employees there work at nearby travel centers. The Denny's restaurant doing the same thing for its employees and said that no one was at the restaurant when that fire started. Fire investigators still have to find out what started this fire, too.
The city suing the county. Uvalde's district attorney facing her own legal troubles tonight. The city of Uvalde filing a lawsuit against the DA demanding answers pertaining to the Robb Elementary School shooting and that investigation. City leaders say DA Christina Mitchell consistently blocked efforts to obtain critical information in the internal affairs investigation into Uvalde's police department. The city wants a judge to order Mitchell to turn over relevant documents to the independent investigator only under a confidentiality and non-disclosure agreement. We will, of course, stay on top of the story and let you know what develops. The shooting in Uvalde is something that the city's mayor, Don McLaughlin, never imagined he'd be a part of. Tonight, in an exclusive interview, he sat down with me in our latest Spreester session. It's playing right now on KSAT.com. Here's a snippet. Somebody at home watching this, we're going to run this 6 months after the event. What do you want them to know about Uvalde?
Look, this is a terrible tragedy that happened in Uvalde. It is. And the sad thing is it could happen in any community around us. Uvalde just happened to, the devil chose to choose Uvalde that day. And that's how I look at it, But, again, you saw this community, how they can come together and be together and help one another, neighbor helping neighbor. Doesn't mean there's not frustration in town. Doesn't mean there's not some anger still in the town. But overall, this community cares about one another.
You can watch the rest of that interview on KSAT.com and our YouTube channel under Spreester Sessions. And tomorrow, be sure to tune in right here on KSAT 12 at 7 p.m. We're going to be airing a KSAT News special on Uvalde called 21 Taken, Uvalde's Path to Healing. You'll also find it on KSAT.com and the KSAT YouTube channel.
New tonight, a shooting leads San Antonio police to not one, but two locations. Police first responded just west of downtown on Frio City Road near Brady Boulevard. Officers found one man with multiple gunshot wounds. He was rushed to the hospital. And then about 30 minutes later, police responded to another location about 3 miles away on the southwest side of town. This was on Gerald Avenue near New Laredo Highway. Police say they found 3 more people who were shot. Officers say they're not looking for anyone else in the case. Investigators believe that the two groups met before an argument escalated into the shooting.
A familiar face stepping in for District 10 Councilman Clayton Perry on the San Antonio City Council. The council unanimously appointed Mike Gallagher to temporarily fill that role while Perry is on his leave of absence following his self-confessed involvement in a hit and run. Gallagher was one of 3 people interviewed for the job today. He was also the Northside District's councilman from 2014 to 2017. His appointment lasts until either Perry returns or the term ends in June. A quick correction now. We previously reported that police have already filed a DWI charge against Councilman Perry. However, we've learned that is incorrect. The police chief has confirmed they are putting a case together, but a spokesperson for the DA's office today said they have not yet received that case. We apologize for that error.
New on the Nightbeat, a Northwest Side Mexican restaurant flunked a recent health inspection, earning them one of the lowest scores we have ever seen. The Night Team's Tim Gerber takes us behind the kitchen door to see what they said about their performance and also if they've corrected the problems.
Taqueria Jalisco number 15, located in the 5500 block of Babcock Road, got a failing 59 on their health inspection in late September. They were cited for numerous health violations, from the way they were cooling and preparing meats to how dirty the place was. The inspector noting they needed to incorporate a cleaning schedule that addresses the accumulations of debris and food on a more regular basis than once a week. Other observations: utensils and knives stored on the clean rack were dirty. The sanitizing sink didn't have any sanitation solution in it. An employee making tortillas wasn't wearing gloves, and another worker wiped his hands on a dirty towel and continued to work.
Hi, are you the manager? Hi, I'm Tim Gerber with KSAT 12. I do the behind the kitchen door segment.
I stopped by earlier this month to see if they had cleaned up their act.
We're following up on the low score here. 59 was pretty low.
Okay, we can go in the back.
This employee said they were pretty ashamed of their performance.
This is the first time that we got that low score. All the things that we got wrong, we're resolving all that.
It did appear they were making an effort to keep the dining area clean for customers, and the employee said they had also addressed the use of gloves.
We have a meeting and we already talked with all the guys, and they started wearing them.
But when an inspector made a follow-up visit on November 17th, he found employees putting on gloves without washing their hands, and others were still preparing tacos with their bare hands. He wrote the walls and floors were soiled, and there was a foul smell in the meat holding area. Both areas needed a good cleaning, and clean knives being stored on a dirty magnetic rack needed to be re-washed. The inspector gave them a 76 this time around. That's what's happening behind the kitchen door. Tim Gerber, KSAT 12 News.
Damp and drizzly outside. We're in that pattern where the drizzle's going to be fairly persistent through the night. You look at our live cam and typically you can see I-10 and even 410 in the distance. That's not the case right now. Visibility is reduced. It's improved a little bit just recently here in San Antonio, but you look off to the west and visibility is down to about 2 to 3 miles, and even up in Bernie about 1.5 miles. So clearly dealing with some fog and drizzle, but nothing that shows up on the radar screen. This is that nuisance dampness. We'll talk about how long this is going to last, when we could shake free of it, and another cold front that hits us this weekend in just a bit.
This SA Salutes holiday greeting is brought to you by Gomez Law Firm.
Christmas is a time to be thankful for our many blessings. So on behalf of the Joe Gomez Law Firm, we want to thank our armed forces and veterans for their service. Merry Christmas.
The clock's run out. Organizers for the Cowboy Breakfast have come up short on their goal of $35,000, so the unofficial kickoff to the rodeo likely won't be happening. The Cowboy Breakfast Foundation still hoping to secure a sponsor in the next couple of days. The rush to raise the funds came after their sponsor had to bow out for business purposes. Well, all the money raised, though, still, even if it doesn't happen, goes towards scholarships at St. Philip's College. So that's a good thing in all this.
Yeah, the money still goes to a good cause. All right. Well, the holiday countdown is on. For some families, decorating the Christmas tree is a tradition. But for one San Antonio woman, it's really become more of a side gig. She became a tree stylist. It's a thing after the pandemic put a strain on her family's finances. The Night Team's Patty Santos shows us how she's grown her business.
Who made that tree? I want them to ask questions. That's going to be the envy.
Trees of Envy is a fitting name for what Alyssa Ramirez creates. She checks off a big to-do for Christmas families.
We're like the little Santa elves that we're coming in and we're taking away that stress from that consumer or the client, and we're just coming in and bringing the Christmas to you, and all you have to do is just sit back and enjoy it.
Tree styling started as a way to make ends meet when her family was struggling. One client quickly became 7 in the first year. Those clients stayed and the list grew.
I threw myself in it. I wanted to know what else I could do to make it better.
With the help of a mentor, she learned the tricks to make her job easier and how to put a price to her craft. On the low end, expect to spend a few $100s, but they can be as grand as a client wants to spend.
So I try to stay in their budget and try to stay with the color combo and just shop anywhere I can to see that it's good enough for me, it's going to go in the tree.
And a tip that she offers is forget about the small little tiny ornaments and instead go for the items that make big, bold statements.
Another tip, consider using your own ornaments to save some money and start shopping as early as the summer for Christmas decor.
The tree, if you have to fluff it all out.
The tree styling elf works year-round too.
People do it for the spring, they do it for Valentine's Day, they leave it up.
Sometimes her creations can take up to 8 hours, but the moment of the big reveals are the price.
I do it because I love to see the faces on the clients. I love seeing the happiness.
Patty Santos, KSAT 12 News.
You know, sometimes when you're a tree stylist, you have to go out on a limb.
Oh, Steve.
It's an evergreen business. All right, let's get to the big shave. After a month of growing our beards to help fight cancer, today the day to visit the barber shop. Throughout the month of November, you helped us beat our goal, and today more donations rolled in. You helped us raise $30,749. Very nice.
Wow.
We were at the top of the team leaderboard across the nation. Thanks to our great KSAT viewers and the Good Barber Barbershop on TPC Parkway for taking great care of us this morning.
Wow. How did that feel?
I'm not going to lie.
What?
It was awesome.
Okay.
Being pampered and, hot towels, then a cold towel.
Yeah.
And,
It looks nice.
Yeah.
So right now, here's a live look outside.
This does not look so nice.
Yeah, that's actually I-10 right now, where you could see it's foggy. You could see or not see, I guess.
Yeah, you can't see much.
Yeah, but let's talk about those rain chances, though. That's what we want.
Yeah, we want some real rain chances, not just this drizzly stuff. Unfortunately, we're going to get into a pattern of basically daily drizzle at some point, whether it's morning, evening, or both. I think we're going to see it pretty much every day. As for real rain chances, we're talking about 20 to 30%, and that's really just light rain. We're talking sprinkles to very light showers, maybe a tenth of an inch here and there. That's about it, and that's all the way through the weekend, tomorrow through the upcoming weekend. All right, let's talk about what's actually going on the next couple of days, what you can plan for. A damp morning tomorrow. Expect reduced visibility for the morning commute. That dampness where you just can't find the right setting on the windshield wipers. You know what I'm talking about? But it doesn't add up to much. Saturday morning, damp, more fog and drizzle, humid, and in the 60s. But a cold front hits midday Saturday. And so for the afternoon and evening on Saturday, it's going to be even cooler with temperatures falling down into the 50s. So Saturday, an upside down day. Warmer in the morning and cooler in the afternoon and becoming less humid later in the day. Visibility 10 miles, that's what it's saying right now, but I just looked at the latest from the observation set at the airport. It's actually down to 7. It fluctuates quite a bit and actually fairly quickly. We're at 50 degrees, dew point of 48, temperature, dew point, when they meet and get close together, air saturated. Relative humidity, 93%. We're just about saturated. But no real rain, not the kind that really shows up on the radar. Here's where the real action is. The good, meaningful rain and meaningful disturbance. This dip in the upper level flow over the western U.S. See this moisture coming onshore from the Pacific, streaming into California and parts of the Rockies. Now, we were in a pattern where we'd be greeted by an upper disturbance periodically. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. We're just looking at these little nuisance moisture situations and nuisance drizzle and sprinkles. That's about it, because Big Blue H, that's settling in nearby. It's not going to be directly overhead, but it's going to be over the Gulf of Mexico and parts of northern Mexico and just drifting south of us. But it's close enough to influence our weather and basically block all those big disturbances out of our area. So more of this, just the little dampness and nuisance areas of precipitation. Here's our future cast. Again, a few sprinkles out there tonight and first thing tomorrow morning. 2 a.m. here, low clouds, reduced visibility. That's going to be really the common theme here for several days, especially in the morning. 6 a.m. cloudy, visibility probably 2 to 3 miles for most of us. By the afternoon, we could see some erosion of those clouds into just a few peaks of sunshine by tomorrow afternoon. I don't anticipate much, though. 51 degrees at 7 a.m. by noon, 63, 68 the high temperature. And if we're lucky, we'll see a few peaks of sunshine. But keep in mind, for Friday evening plans, whether it be UTSA tailgate or high school football, playoffs, drizzle is likely to set in pretty quickly again after sunset Friday evening. So upper 60s near 70 tomorrow. Saturday, we start the day in the 60s. By the afternoon, we're in the 50s. And then Sunday, we rebound back into the 60s. And next week, more consistent temperatures, just well into the 70s. No big fluctuations, but almost daily fog and drizzle.
Yeah, but 70s, it's going to feel balmy.
It'll feel spring-like.
It'll feel great.
Okay, so the Roadrunners had a goal.
Yes.
50,000 fans. How are they doing with that?
I can tell you right now, more fans will attend this game than last year's Conference USA Championship game, and that was just over 41,000. We'll have a little bit more specific number for you when we come back. Also, game day info for the fans, including free downtown parking, where you can find it. And is this Texas State's new head coach? Coming up. With kickoff now just a little over 20 hours away, the UTSA Roadrunners begin their final push to try and get more than 50,000 fans in the stands for tomorrow's Conference USA Championship game against their rivals North Texas. Associate Athletic Director for Communication Kyle Stevens tells us tonight ticket sales are going well, and at least one source confirms that, telling KSAT 12 Sports is up to 42,000 now. Star quarterback Frank Harris has asked what it would mean to him and his teammates if that many fans would show up.
It means a lot for us to come out there with a lot of people, a lot of fans. I mean, it rarely happens. You get two back-to-back championships, so we'll just help everybody that comes out there, support, the San Antonio team. We definitely appreciate it, feed off their energy, and just hope to see everybody out there.
All right, here's a game day fan notification here, including all the start times, the parking lots being open all the way down to the Alamo doors being open, and includes free parking at all city lots downtown between 4 p.m. and 2 a.m., not including, of course, the Alamo Dome. There are a number of reports that the University of the Incarnate Word head coach G.J. Kinney has been offered the head coaching position at Texas State in San Marcos. That's after the Bobcats fired Jake Spavital. Kinney led the Cardinals to their second straight Southland Conference title with a 10-win season, the first in school history, and now facing Furman this Saturday in the second round of the FCS playoffs at 1 p.m. at Benson Stadium. Ironically, the man he replaced at UIW, Eric Morris, was also mentioned as a possible next head coach for Texas State. And former UT head football coach Tom Herman is now the new head coach of Florida Atlantic University. Herman replaces Willie Taggart, who was fired after going 5-7 this past season. Herman's best season at Texas came in 2018. The Longhorns were 10-4 and finished second in the Big 12.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
Dallas Cowboys can easily be the hottest team in the NFL by adding to their back-to-back wins against the Vikings and the Giants by winning their next 3 games. And when you take a look at their opponents, it's more than doable when you consider they will face the 4-7-1 Colts on Sunday Night Football, followed by the 1-9-1 Texans, and then the 4-7 Jaguars for their rematch with the Philadelphia Eagles at home. But before that can happen, the Cowboys must stop their self-inflicted wounds. That's right, penalties are a problem again. After leading the league in penalties last year, they're second in the NFL this year, coming off their worst of the season, 13 flags for 86 yards against the Giants.
I think, we've been getting better every week, stacking success, figuring it out here and there. I just think, like I said, that next step is just cleaning up our play, cleaning up the penalties, stop shooting ourselves in the foot, and, stop playing against ourselves.
All right, another problem for the Cowboys is the number of players out due to illness. You can add San Antonio's own Terrence Steele, who missed practice today, joining Trayvon Diggs and Michael Gallup. For the first time in 4 months, Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson addressed the media today. That's after serving an 11-game suspension for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy after as many as 25 women filed civil lawsuits against the NFL player, alleging sexual assault during massages. And now, ironically, he's making his comeback this Sunday against his former team, the Texans in Houston.
I understand that you guys have a lot of questions, but with my legal team and my clinical team, there's only football questions that I can really address at this time. And I also want to thank, most importantly, Jacoby, the big brother he's been to me and everyone in that locker room, the passion, the grit, the leadership he has shown these past weeks. Everyone has seen it. I mean, he's the ultimate guy that everyone wants to, follow. So he's been awesome for me. Our relationship has been great. The bond has been great, and we're going to continue to grow from there and, help win some more football games for the Cleveland Browns.
The 9-game losing streak starting to get to the young Spurs next. The Spurs losing streak, which now stands at 9 in a row, is starting to get to the young fellas. You can just hear it in their voices. That's after they were up by 20 points last night against the Thunder in Oklahoma City, only to fall 119-111 with another shot to end it tomorrow night against the Pelicans at home.
Yes, of course. Obviously, this is a tough loss. We expected to come out here and win this game, and we did win this game. So it's a tough loss. We'll watch film, and we'll try and learn from it.
All right, after jetting home late last night with his teammates from Oklahoma City, Spurs point guard Trey Jones able to make it out to the Methodist Children's Hospital with a Coyote and YouTube streamer Cypher PK to spread some holiday cheer in conjunction with Spurs Give. They were there to donate a portable gambling console as part of Outreach Cart to provide an outlet for the children while undergoing treatment.
Just making sure that, they're happy. Obviously, they don't deserve to be in, the position that they're in. Just to be able to try to bring any joy into their days while they're here just means the most to me.
Trey is an avid gamer himself, decided to sit down and try out the console himself with the children today.
And why not?
Well, he loves doing it, and the children, I'm sure, loved having him there.
I'm glad he spent the time doing it.
And he's just a big kid at heart.
There you go.
Awesome. Good for them. We'll be right back after this.
All right, check this out. The city of Los Angeles creating a space of nostalgia. They're hosting a Blockbuster pop-up experience complete with membership cards, VHS tapes, even beer, wine, and liquor. Movies play on a screen while guests can play Pogs or video games. Organizers consider it a way to rewind the times.
I want to know how small those screens are.
Be kind, rewind.
True. Good night.